Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, this is going to be a divine masculine check-in on opening up and communication. So I'm going to dive in and see what we can know about the DMs and what they are feeling guided to do regarding communication at this time on all the levels. Like, what are they feeling they are being guided to do, and why are they feeling guided that way? I'm going to pull a second deck to see why they might be feeling those particular ways about what they are experiencing. And then I'm going to see what they would say to the feminines about that and the advice for the feminines. So I'll shuffle that in a minute. But first off, what can we see as a message for the DMs in support? Oh, yeah. That's cool. This actually just stood up. I stopped it with my arm and it stood up against the other decks. But we have the Emperor here with keeping an open mind about the future. So masculines are walking that edge. That is their cutting edge. They do have stability coming in. The integrated aspects of the Emperor are reason, logic, stability, protection, righteousness, the Father. That's his leadership. In the disintegrated, it's control freak, it's over analysis paralysis, it's legalism, it is stubbornness, it's control issues. And so masculines are between worlds here. They are keeping an open energy. So yeah, divine masculines, that's really good. Staying in your openness about who, what, when, where, why. What can we see for the feminines? What do the feminines need to know going forward? Gone but not gone. Just because your masculine isn't showing up in certain ways fully right now does not mean that they are rejecting you. Okay, let's dive into what are the masculines being guided to do or observe or not do at this time. Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as only the highest, most beneficial channel of love for the beautiful viewers that join me here. What is the reason the masculines, what is the indication in their reality that they are picking up on that is causing them to feel guided in those ways? What would the masculines say to the feminines about their choices and methods at this time? And what is the advice for the feminines and possibly the masculines with what we see here? Okay, conscious mind. What are the masculines feeling guided to do about these connections at this time? Knight of Swords, not communicate. Knight of Swords in the inverse. It's like really looking at communication. I'm getting like paying attention to when they're nervous, when they feel free, what they want to say, what kind of things are floating around in the energy for consideration. This is the masculines really understanding the back story to communication, not being overly wordy, being essential, being in tune, and not offering too much. Why are the masculines feeling this way? Three of Swords, they don't want to perpetuate heartache. So this is empty promises. This is not having a full, clear, energetic picture of what's really going on. So if they try to express certain things, they might put their foot in their mouth. The feminine is like an elephant. They never forget, the masculines just said. So they don't want to prematurely try to tell a story that is not accurate about what's happening here. They are working on huge systems, paradigms, collective beliefs, generational beliefs, personal beliefs. And so when we're working multidimensionally with those things, they are sort of like orchestrations in the 5D, in the they span across the multiverse, we'll say. So they just want to be very thorough. They want to be masters. And so they want to observe this thing. What would they say to you, feminines, about this? I'm sorry. Yeah, they know it must be frustrating. This is a little bit of an inside scoop on that divine gag order, I have to say. So the masculines want to say, I'm sorry for the heartache I've caused you in the past. I'm sorry for being aloof. I'm sorry for not having it all figured out. I'm sorry for not knowing what I don't know. I'm sorry for being human. I'm sorry for being divine. I'm sorry for being, confused. I'm sorry for putting myself first. It's like sorry, not sorry kind of energy in some ways. But yeah, it's like they've got this revelation happening right now, and there are lots of things they would do differently. And for that, they truly are trying to process what to do now. That's what I'm getting. What is the advice for the feminines? Stay in integrity. So yeah, feminines, you are meant, it came out in the inverse. So my guides just told me if they come out in the inverse, it's going to be meant for the feminines. And if they come out in the upright, it's going to be meant for both. So this one is for the feminines. Stay in your integrity. That means don't tell yourself nasty stories about what could be happening and the negative reasons, the suffering reasons why your masculine is not communicating right now, or communicating to the depth that you would like. Stay in integrity. Allow them their sovereign experience. No news is good news. If they have not qualified what they're doing, don't assume the worst. What are the masculines thinking consciously about the feminines, specifically regarding opening up to you about what they're thinking? We get justice. So they want to tell you there's nobody that they've ever met that is a better fit, that is more aligned, that is more worthy. Justice is in your favor, feminines. The masculine knows you're the best for them. They know it. And they want to show you that. They want to, I'm hearing vow, they want to be your person, feminines. So just because they're not communicating does not mean that you are not their preference. What is the energy? So that they're guided to bring you justice, to come correct. They're guided to honor you for the marvelous, splendorous, perfect match that you are. What is telling them to do that? 10 of Swords. Okay. You're the one person that they couldn't live without, that they have had to overcome that fear of rejection. So many have chosen other scenarios thinking that they could recreate. So stick with me here. Oftentimes the feminines and masculines come together and it's explosive fireworks. And it's quite common for the masculines and feminines to go off and be with other people at certain points. That's not for everybody, but for those who that applies to, this really is because there's a capacity that's built in trying to see if it was a new developmental stage that caused the two to have so much chemistry, or if it was unique to that connection. And so, sometimes we've up-leveled and now we think we can have that kind of an experience with everyone. We have to be sure if it's us or if it's actually the combination of us and our counterpart. And so sometimes also when we go to other people, it's because we're not quite feeling like the shoes fit to step forward in these connections, because there's undetermined science experiment like stuff that still needs to be discovered. But the 10 of Swords is my abandonment trigger. So there's a covert fear of rejection. And the masculines have not wanted to let you down, or, if you went to the moon together, they don't want to try to go to the moon again and have a rocket booster disintegrate and not make it there. They don't want to disappoint, and they don't want to be rejected if they can't sustain that high frequency. And so this is telling me that for many, you met at a time when you were both in a temporary high frequency spike, and then real life or back to whatever you still needed to balance out and deal with this abandonment wound so that it can be a more consistent way of life. What would they say to the feminines? I never imagined so much perfection. And yet at the same time, they know they manifested exactly what they've imagined would be their ideal. So this came out in the inverse because they just didn't believe it would happen before their very eyes. but boom, there you were. Every aspect of you is tailor-made, I just heard. What can we see for advice? Yeah, another one for the feminines. Courage, blood moon. Okay, so dig deep for your own bravery here, that it's not a rejection of you, that it's actually going to be a gift, that your masculine is proving themselves to themselves right now. And for many, because we're talking about having gone to the grass is greener kind of stuff, this is the masculine. Some are in celibacy right now. Some of them are really proving to themselves who they are so they can look you in the eye. This is a purification process. We did get that Three of Swords in the inverse to begin with, and that is eliminating third parties as well. So some may be MIA right now while they finalize karmic contracts and once and for all up level out of temptation for lower vibrational connections, so they can be, you know, fully present in your connection without cords to others. So have courage that whatever's happening right now, if you're resonating with this, that this is about your counterpart up-leveling to match you on a consistent high timeline. So don't lower your vibration, longing for scraps or to have them prematurely. Stay brave, feminines. What are the masculines being guided to do regarding the heart space of this connection? Five of Cups, to really process, to mourn the ending of things that aren't coming forward with them, to really honor the love that's here, but they are facing these 3 empty cups from the karmic scenarios and lessons that have not been satiating. They're looking in the direction of those things into the past right now to take the nutrition from it so that they can be successful here. They're being guided to do that. Why? The Hermit, because they've wanted to crack the code of their destiny, their higher timelines. They've wanted to focus on their higher path. And so they are looking to the past for that instruction in part. What would they say to you? Now is not the time. So they are in the midst of this. They are meditating quite a bit right now. These wings, these butterfly wings, are at half mast, so they are almost halfway there with certain life review and connecting the dots in their karmic relationship patterns. They need to know that they've overcome those particular patterns so that the coast is clear, feminines. They don't want to recreate things that they have sabotaged others in the past, other connections. They don't want to have a diminished self-concept. And so they need a little bit more time. What is the instruction? Releasing. Okay, so this is again for the feminines, but in the inverted like this, releasing is like letting go of the old versions, but not completely, you know, giving up on the person. Just letting go of the false starts and not scripting a whole clinging storyline as to what you're losing when there's spaciousness, not telling yourself that kind of a story about what's going on here, really flipping that script and allowing it to be the hero's journey where we gather new experiences and then we go out and apply what we've learned to up level and to return better for it. A really good mantra that I've heard is, this can work for me, or this is working for me. When you can pray or meditate and ask, how is this potentially, or how is this bringing me towards the love I'm asking for, instead of how is this proving I'm unworthy of love. Do you see the difference? So if you're telling yourself that what you're observing is a reinforcement of the proof you're not going to ever find love, that's on you. If you can if you can ask for higher guidance to be shown how this is preparing you for the love that is inevitable, that's a completely different assessment of what's going on here. I encourage all of you to try that one out. What are the masculines being guided on the heart space with you? Oh, in the heart of hearts, we got union, 4 of Wands, 11. Why are they being guided for this? because they see the growth, the transformation. We've got the death energy here. So masculines see that they've been going through this ascension process, this paradigm shift, and that you are front row and center, central to that. What would they say to you about it? I hope you'll wait for me. So they wouldn't blame you if you don't wait. But in a sense, they don't even need hope because they feel you will. But they also don't want to take that for granted because they really love you. But they do really want to focus on being thorough so they can come forward to you completely. And so they're not really saying anything to you right now because they want to surprise you and with being ready when it's time so that you can go deep and you never have to stop. What is the advice for the feminines? Drawing down the moon, knowledge. So this journey is to, equip you to know. I mean, this is what true love looks like unfolding. Just keep telling yourself, this is exactly what true love looks like unfolding. If you can't see that, you're not looking through the right set of eyes, feminines. This is the way it unfolds. This is exactly what's meant to be happening in the energy right now for true love to unfold and become realized. Now, your task is to find out how that is true. What are the masculines considering regarding what to manifest? What are they being guided to manifest next here? 3 of Wands, keeping an open mind, watching for the results to come in. When they are in their mastery, what kind of manifestations come back around to them? So they're starting to see their ships coming in financially, with new networks, with new affiliations, with new opportunities. They're starting to see their manifestations come back like a boomerang even quicker than before. They're starting to see more accurate, more blessed manifestations. They're starting to design higher frequency desires, and they're starting to see those things coming back in real time. They're starting to meet their goals more effortlessly. They're starting to dare to dream better for themselves and see those results. They're starting to think things and see it come back more and more quickly, more and more obviously. They're looking for growth and confidence in their choices, and not so much having to go to the blind leading the blind kind of people who are in fear, but they are going to source for their direction. And so they're listening to their hearts, and these heart-based nudges are actually starting to bring in their abundance. So for some, they've had a windfall, they have been lucky. It looks that way from the outside. They've gotten a breakthrough. They've had an aha moment more regularly. They're seeing that's not by chance, that it's coming in more and more. So they're being guided to really investigate the nature of reality through this laws of manifestation or attraction or alignment. What's happening in their reality? Page of Swords. So their curiosity is being piqued. They don't even have to look for it anymore. It's more obvious, it's more evident. They no longer live in the mundane world. Their reality is coming alive to them. They don't even have to go looking for it. Page of Swords is like a curiosity card. It's a seeker, a student kind of card. And so when we are seeing that energy within, we are aware of our inner landscape and starting to connect what is happening within us to our environment, and seeing how our attitudes and thoughts do become realized in the reality around us. So yeah, the masculines are connecting what they're putting out there, what their truths are, or where their cutting edge is internally with what is reflected back to them. What would they say to the feminines? Love me. Yeah, they're loving themselves right now. And that means that they believe they are worthy of having abundance and blessing come in, that they are becoming more and more worthy of love, that they don't need you to love them to prove their worthiness. They're finding it within themselves so that they can also love you. with reciprocity, so they're not just taking and can't give. So they're seeing what is impactful, because they are seeing in real time things that they believe within manifesting. And so now they are seeing they are not invisible to the universe, that they are being ushered, cared for, that they affect their reality, they're important, they're of significance. This is justifying their existence as masculines. This is giving them soul level confidence that they can bring meaning to your life, feminines. And so this is the generous energy that they're stepping into. So they're not just that bottomless pit that needs that external nurture, that doesn't appreciate, that takes the feminine for granted. This is where they're finding it within themselves. What do the feminines need to know? Face your fears. So any fears that are coming up, it's a deep dive internally right now. Just like the masculines are realizing that they're manifesting their reality based on those very intimate, personal thoughts. Really look at your thoughts right now, feminines. Face your fears. I'm hearing the fears that you're going to face are not meant to manifest your reality. You're meant to see those things so you can focus on the things internally that you do want to have manifested externally. So be aware of, cognizant of your internal fears. This is about being more observant of the fears, catching those fears in midair internally and saying, no, that's not necessary, true, or kind. I don't need to allow that to just be here, floating in the energy, running the show. This is where you take your power back from your fears on a new level, feminines. And the masculines aren't trying to trigger you by focusing on their own ability to manifest right now. They're actually trying to match you and trying to up level into high frequency energy so that you can sustain a high frequency relationship. So don't continue to perpetuate the lie that your masculine is your puppet master. Really face your own fears so that you can clear those out, so those are no longer going to cloud your judgment about the love being here. Ooh. What can we see for the actions the masculines are being guided to take right now? 5 of Swords. They're being guided to look at their free will. Let me assess these swords here. So yeah, they've got you and them, these 2 swords in hand, like a bouquet of roses. And then they've got 1 sword in hand, which is their truth. And they've got 2 swords, like X marks the spot, underfoot. And so they are being able to clearly see the pinpoint certain coordinates of thought. Swords are thoughts. So they're being able to capture their thoughts and find their truth. But in this stack, so it's like that's the foundation, being able to identify what is really going on, find that truth, and then how it applies to you and them. So they are being guided right now to actively seek out those kind of pathways of thought. And ultimately, they're looking right at the viewer in this card. There's kind of like a side eye, but it's not like, yeah, it's kind of peeking. It's like looking at you when you don't know. And getting, spying, watching your reactions from a distance. You do show them how to find these coordinates of what really matters, because you're a mirror, feminines. They do utilize your reactions or non-reactions or the way the energy, the masculines are up leveling in how they are assessing your shared reality right now, because they are kind of like looking off. And then the side eye thing, I'm getting that they've caught on to something that they were unaware of before, and now they're seeing how instrumental you are in their lives. Like that's the bridging truth, is that you and them, the affiliation, the alignment of the 2 of you correlates directly with their ability to get to the heart of things, the essential, the foundation, what really matters. There's a direct parallel between what really matters and your connection. I'm seeing that there. So that's what they're being guided to understand right now, and to actively affirm through meditation. Yeah. Why is this happening? The hangman, because there's a stall in the energy. So for many divine feminines and masculines, there's been external circumstances or inconvenient circumstances or things that have arisen in the energy that has perpetuated a spaciousness. You know, I was pulled away in January with my dog and had to focus on that. There's been a lot of different things going on in the energy where there has been more of a solitude coming in for many counterparts. This hanged one is when the universe seems to, you know, put us in a headlock and we are powerless to affect forward motion. And it's because we're meant to learn certain things. In this case, the masculines are meant to see how the things that really matter in their life are in direct correlation with your connection, the becoming of your connection. What would they say to the feminine? Will you choose me? So this is causing the masculines not to have a fear of rejection. They're no longer insecure about whether you would ultimately choose them or not. Because they see the alignment with what is essential in their lives, they now know it's divinely guided, that this is a divine gift, that these relationships are mutually manifested. And that is such a rare thing in the universe that it has to be honored. So it's not the person that we honor, love, and respect so much as the awareness that we have found our match, and that third energy is the thing that we uphold in the highest, because that is the proof that this is in alignment with that higher dimensional love. It's the fruits, it's the synergy, it's the abundance that flows from the connections, the growth that happens, that is the thing that is to be protected and cultivated. Beautiful. What is the advice for the feminines? Okay, the past, dark moon. This is in the inverse. So really look at the foundation that's been laid in these connections, feminines, and be in an attitude of gratitude for all of it. It has absolutely offered you value thus far. And so it's a time to be grateful. I'm really feeling, have a look over everything that you have seen here. Again, continue to be in that gratitude. Continue to allow that to support you through these times of spaciousness, so that you're not so flimsy and fickle with, oh no, I can't see my masculine, or they're not talking to me right now. What if they don't love me? Really look at it from the side of the lens that says, wow, look at how much this has blessed me in my life. Look at the growth I've had. Look at these experiences. Look at the wholeness I've reached. Don't be in worry about this. This is why they say the romantic relationship, the union, is the icing on the cake, because it's about the journey in so many ways. What is the masculines, what are they being guided to look at as the greatest challenge at this time? Baby steps. How, what, where, when to make gestures, steps forward, how to do real things in the physical. We got that yesterday. What is it in the energy causing this? King of Pentacles. Their eyes are being open to what commitment is. And so as they're seeing what commitment is more and more, it's clear, clear as day, cut and dry, what needs to happen at each moment. And this is their beautiful opportunity to reveal that bit by bit to you, to show you the real them, to unveil the commitment that they have in their heart, that they're intending here. But it can't all come out at once. It's more meaningful if it's in bite-sized digestible pieces. So they're really quite enjoying the idea they don't have to have it all figured out, that they can just now take it slow, no rush, get to know you, let it unfold naturally, creatively. What would they say to you? Yeah. So yeah, they want to take it slow sexually. they do want to work up to that feeling ultimately best for both of you. So they may want to get to know you in a good old-fashioned courtship way where they leave sex out of it. Take that how it resonates for your connection. They want to get to know you on a level that brings guaranteed understanding of who each of you are without sex muddying it or throwing you both off track. They want the real thing, and so they're willing to wait for the perfect time to actually consummate the connection. What do the feminines need to know? Watch for signs. Follow the moon. So the moon cycle, feminines, your hormonal cycles, your arousal, we're receptive when there's ovulation, or, if you're not in a female body, pay attention to when you're genuinely attracted to your masculine, or even if you're not in ovulation, when you are feeling genuine chemistry and when you're actually not, when it's wishful thinking or when it's expected. No more pretend. Your body, feminines, is such a fine-tuned instrument for truth. You cannot fake it to yourself. If you are very present with whether or not you're actually physically attracted to your masculine from first person, aroused, we'll say, that will give you an indicator of how this is coming into the physical, into grounding, into union. Even if you are sexually active with your masculine and you are not, for some reason, able to climax or something like that, that might be because there are other things that need to balance out before. And so this is about taking it slow and really creating more of a foundation that is honoring on such a deep level that it is proving the mutuality. So feminines, remember, you don't have to just receive your masculine when they desire that. When we're talking about actual aligned relationships, you have to be present with whether or not you are actually turned on by your counterpart at any given moment. When it's mutual from both sides, that means that you're both feeling it and choosing each other in that moment completely. And that is what we're shooting for life partnership here. And so feminines, don't forget that you have a say in that. The masculines want to create foreplay as a way of life, I just heard. They want it to be them. They want you to only want them. They want to put in the work so that you wouldn't think of anyone else ever. And they know when they give you that effect or not. And they've seen when it has fallen short. And that breaks their heart when you don't respond the same way that you do when you feel safe, when you feel in alignment with them. And that is the biggest challenge, is directing your connection in that way that protects that intimacy. Because they know that they have hurt you. They know that they have been guided to take a step back and that you haven't always felt it with them. Take that how it resonates, emotionally, mentally, or physically. They don't want to have that disconnect happen again, not because of them. Wow. What is the solution? What are the masculines being guided to do here for this solution? There's the death rebirth cycle. So they are bringing it back from the dead here. They are being guided to make a return and to do things differently this time. What in the energy is telling them to do that? Close but no cigar. They tasted ultimate happiness with you and then they missed the mark in some way. And so they're really going for gold. They want to perfect it. They want to make sure that there is this willful gift of doing their best. They don't ever want to harbor secret separation energies within them. Karmic scenarios would never be so sensitive to be a mirror for that, is what I'm hearing. And that the masculines care so much now that they know that you are the one that feels them like that. They want to be impeccable. They want to get it right. They want to have it everlasting. They do not want it to be on them. They don't want you to bring that in either. But this is them wanting to do their best because now they know energetically you're the one person that can tell if they're not into it or afraid or whatever the case may be. And that's why it's worth waiting for, because there's nothing better than wholehearted investment, sustained. Yeah, it's on. This is the no card, but it's in the on position. So game on like Donkey Kong. Okay, on like Donkey Kong. What do the feminines need to know? Oh, we got the past again. Yeah, dark moon and moon memories. So still looking at the past. So look at your connection in light of this challenge and this solution about chemistry, arousal, being turned on or not. And really look at when that dipped and ebbed and flowed in your connection so that you really understand it's not something faked. It's not something you can make up. It's either cohesive or it's not, copacetic or it's not. It's either in flow or it's not, and it's either clicking or it's not. And so this is why monogamy is such an exalted holy grail, is because true monogamy means you actually have the lock and key of authentic connection on a pure level. You can't actually have monogamy if you haven't come into mastery. There is always that shadow of a doubt, or the places you don't know yourself or are not sensitive enough to tell the difference. And with these connections, these are two people coming in who are conscious, aware enough to know whether or not the relationship or the connection is on that level of purity and truth or not. So feminines, you are being instructed to look at and equip yourself to be aware of the times when you have legitimately felt real attraction and arousal, and when you haven't. And really don't pretend that you have when you haven't. And be honest about what was going on there and the effect that your masculine has had or not. Your masculine knows this about the feminine's receptivity or not. And because you have taught them, I'm hearing that in these twin connections or in these aligned connections, whatever name you're calling your connection, you've been the one that has taught the masculine feminines this impeccable awareness. How could anyone else truly be that mirror for them in this way? Karmic situations will mirror disintegrated sexual energies and kink and repressed sexuality, which you can have arousal in those levels, layers, but it's not the holy grail. It's instant gratification or physical pleasure. It's not holistic like this. What is the masculine polarity being asked, guided to do coming forward? Two of Swords, to drop in and look at what truth they want to offer. So I'm getting this is kind of like, usually the Two of Swords is a blockage card. So for some, they're going to unblock you. That's just for a select few that are blocked. You're going to get that unblocking. For some, they are passing on a message or using somebody with their consent to give you some information, feminines, like a birdie told me kind of thing, because they're blindfolded here, and then this sword is sort of like, so yeah, something could come on the wind that your masculine has wanted to give you indirectly. You might find out something that they don't know that you're going to find out. So the potentials going forward here is an indirect awareness coming to you, feminines. So the masculines are not necessarily being guided to do that, but they're being guided to set a ball in motion that they don't necessarily see is going to either get back to you or get back to you the way that it does end up, like the game of telephone. So they may unblock you late at night or when you least suspect it. There's something about the masculines not even planning what this next offering of connection will be. It's like they've dropped into spontaneous guidance and that they don't even see it coming. So they've kind of put that intention out that they're on flow autopilot, and whatever sort of ends up happening, they don't have restrictions, but they don't also have a clear plan. They're just more open. Six of Swords. Yeah, there's some internal progress here. So 6, 7, 8 of Swords. They're still kind of blocked in their minds because they haven't yet communicated clearly with you on the level that will come next, that's being sorted right now. So they don't actually know what would be the most appropriate way forward at this time. And so, yeah, they're learning on the fly. Another cause to take them down off the pedestal, and just know that the reason it's so in sync is because this is a divinely guided thing, because it's two people wanting to get out of their own way and allow this to flow through them and to, you know, become. We're all basically saying to the divine, use me as an instrument of love unfolding on the planet. And we found these collaborators in our counterparts that are also saying, divine, use me as an instrument of the unfolding of love on the planet. And that is, you know, in real time in these partnerships, demonstrating through us what that looks like when we haven't been modeled it in our imprinting. What would the masculines say to the feminines? Strength, ego. There's a letting go. There is a releasing of needing to prove things. And that's why there's an indirect approach here that seems to be just more of a surrendered inflow. What is the instruction for the feminines? Go for it in the reverse. Reach for the moon. Okay, so feminines, whatever you've been holding back, that you've been waiting for your masculine before you take action on something, I'm getting that you're meant to go for it with or without them. It's kind of like, just know that when the iron is hot, there's going to be a strike. It's like things are going to move, but nobody knows the final hour kind of thing here. Okay, let's get one card for the feminines. What can we see? Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. It came out in the inverse. So really decide what you want and focus your thoughts to align with that in a way that doesn't feel stressful, that feels supportive and freeing. What do the masculines need to know? Purpose. I know what I'm here to do. So yeah, masculines are understanding that their intention is their purpose, their intention in everything, their balance, their character, their authenticity, their truth is their life purpose. To find that X marks the spot. And then knowing, oh, I get the message here. They could do it blindfolded. Because that knowing is coming in to the degree that they're like, here's my truth. And they don't even have to, they don't need external proof. They don't need your approval. They just know. That's mastery. Okay, many blessings. Bye for now.